his tattoos. Ebony JB, and I'm back with another reaction review video. And in this video, we are reacting to Westside's new body of work, Flygod is an Awesome God 2. Is it a little bit illegal of me to react to this without having had listened to Flygod is an Awesome God 1? If it is, that's unfortunate because I'm still doing it. See what this one is about, and then I'll go back and listen to the Flygod is an Awesome God 1. So it's a thing where I haven't listened to the Flygod is an Awesome God number 1, but here we are reacting to number 2. See what Westside has to offer here, because I'm actually just starting to really get into him, really enjoy him, and really get excited about him. So I don't want anything, because I've been seeing some very mixed reviews. People saying that this is whack, that this is trash, that this is the worst Westside they've ever heard. I saw Sean C tweet about it, and I'm really trying to not be biased. All these tweets and these comments, I want to listen to it on a plain slate, you know what I mean? I don't want to be biased. So consciously, I'm going to really try very hard to not think about the negative stuff I've heard about it so far. But, subconsciously, who knows? Sean C's tweet might have scarred me. So let's get into this. Let's get into Flygod is an Awesome God 2.
I would like to begin by saying to you that a renaissance, and you are very fortunate.
First of all, just the instrumental, sonically, this sounds insane with the drums going boom, 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 boom. And as the drums are falling, it's like that loop is just starting again so perfectly. Musically, this is sounding great.
We are very fortunate to be participating in this renaissance period.
About a renaissance, and we know there was a renaissance, this art period where there was this new kind of uproar. I guess that's actually really what Griselda is. You can look at it kind of like a renaissance period where these hip-hop underground rappers are coming with, sounds reminiscent to the old hip-hop 90s flow. And production, but again, it's because it's a resurgence of that old art. It's still a renaissance period. Oh, I like this production.
Shooting out the Lambo truck till I retire. Cases everywhere, burnt the holes in the bus, but today I wore the wires. Don't talk too loud, Lord.
What the hell is we've got some slow trumpet? What is that? Oh, I need to find out.
But today I wore the wires. Don't talk.
That sounds like a wind brass instrument, but then it kind of doesn't. All I know is that that thing that comes in there going is crazy. Because we had this brokenness, edgy kind of start with those plucked strings that were discordant, but then we have that kind of thing serving as a bit of a bass, but also just complementing that kind of broken vibe we're getting from this track. Really complementing that brokenness and making it just sound even less dysfunctional, and making it sound really kind of beautiful.
Flygod, everybody wanna be like them. Back of the back, but I still like to drive. Respected by the one-to-one niggas to the lifers. We got niggas wearing shit bags in the diaper. You want my autograph, kiss my hand, I'm your highness. Takes the work, better turn two, I'm excited. Shit minus. Woke up middle of the night, my Shelly crying.
Oh, what is that? Sounds a bit violin-y. And Michael Irvin is an instant favourite. It went straight to the playlist. I like the production, I like this flow here. So far, so good. So far, I'm not hearing any of the whackness people are talking about.
The gorgeous, twin Porsches, the exalted. Imagine my vision, I had the Linda Felsh tinted. Perrion, washing my head, Seiko. Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco, 002 Geiger, sharpshooter, aim a third house in my Cougar name. Finesse maneuver came. Kerry James in the dope spot. Hit the purple tops out.
Talking to my man, he said the last batch that came in was worthless.
I told him, I heard your deal came with 100,000 and some Jergens. These fake ball talk big till we shoot they Suburban. Me and Emerald Lagasse shit. I turned my granddaddy.
I just have to say though that the sample is stupid. Like, come on, it's got that choiry, like harmony kind of symphony vibe to it. It's just singing, and the singing is so like powerful and church-like, but then it's like kind of cut short and chopped and whatever. And I'm liking this feature, Stove God Cooks. So far though, this track is like a okay track. I'm not really getting too much in terms of like bars here from Westside.
Did you hearing this? Over the
Jose Canseco, I feel like it is a very like well produced track. It sounds beautiful. It's just, for me, it's running a bit too long. 4 minutes and 13 seconds. I feel like the features part could have been cut a bit because it was just running a bit too long for me. I don't think it's gonna make it to the playlist, because for now the only thing that was really holding that track for me was the production. Like, okay, there was nothing really like captivating there, great, that I was gonna like say this is going to the playlist.
I didn't think I just shot. My whip game crazy, you wanted it now.
Oh, this vibe right here, you were driving through the city, it's like like early evening, maybe it's like 5, you know, you just cruising, there's no worries really, but you're seeing all this like roughness around you, you're looking through down the street corners, you're seeing some things happening, you're seeing some people struggling. And you know what, you're struggling too, but at least you got your car and at least you're driving through the city.
Posing on a Speedgo in Puerto Rico, got the max and Gino. 3 days and then it rose about the pot. Hove was on the box. The Evil's verse 2, shit touched my soul, I had to stop. The marble shine like the floor is damp.
I really like the vibe of One More Hit. The sample again, stupid here. The sample doesn't sound as like churchy as the earlier sample in Jose Canseco. I know I'm saying that so wrong, but it doesn't sound, it sounds like so, it sounds soulful, but then it sounds a bit dark. We got an interlude, okay. The Sad Who interlude was something. I'm trying to think about where this interlude is trying to place me. It's placing me in the back of the police car. The lights going off, because it has like a kind of siren effect in the background. And I'm gonna like be in this car right now. I'm on the way to jail, but like, it's for a minor crime, so I know I'm gonna be out in no time. I'm actually not that upset that I'm going to jail right now. I'm just looking out the window, I'm like, yeah, I've been arrested. Yeah, it's a vibe. Sounds like there's crying that's going on, but like, you're not really too fussed about it. So I like that interlude, I can't lie.
They got shown the only heart I got. Clock in the dinner tears, 8 ball on my sock. I had no fear, I'm the illest. Took my second wish, I've been 7 trend setting. Wide project trench with the
like this. I like this a lot. The repetitive dun of the bass, just like, oh, again, just plunging you, and then like the little high-pitched like tings, whatever going on in the background. I like those because they sounded a bit like chimey again. It sounded like such a playful, childlike sound, but then the bass just completely brings that childlike vibe. It brings it right down into the gutter. So it's like, wait, listen, this is not for kids.
And I, Caesar Leo, the flow is Frio. So dope, could sell it by the kilo. Ooh, move a little dope. Oh, she trap, cooking up, sending brick money through the cash. Bad. And
we got some Lil Kim Foxy Brown vibes from her. She is insane.
these DMs full of niggas wanting dates with me. But it's money over niggas. I take paper, please.
She killed it. Westside did his thing, she did her thing. That was such a, like, that track just made a lot of, it's like they just worked so well together. That was insane.
Driver hit 2 officers before speeding around an armored...
I'm in the rose, nights on the Martine Rose when I pop sunshine. what I'm saying? Next thing you know, we did from one time.
I took a loss and just had to build from it. Y'all broke the code, threw dirt on game when y'all spoke the holes. That's expected.
Oh, this production is beautiful, and I've checked the production, and it's Daringer, of course. Daringer, I should say. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. I pronounce a whole lot of things wrong, but you know, they're the Griselda's go-to producer, produced this. Excellent use of a sample yet again.
Prison strengthened my mental. I broke the lead on the paper from writing letters in pencil.
Okay, Benny, of course, it's so great to hear Benny the Butcher here. I love his energy. My gosh, his flow is just insane.
Old hole with a Pyrex, what's the money worth? When my mother hurt, brother land under dirt. We can forgive you, but you get punished first.
Dug around at the mother gym, niggas who thought I was finished. Hate to see me bounce, they touch the
Buffs vs Wires, I cannot lie to you, like, for this track, the features for me stole the show. Westside here, like, he did his thing, but like the highlights for me were Benny and Boldy James. Now I've got a lot of people telling me, Boldy James, Ebony, the price of tea in China, Ebony. Listen, it's coming. 2 seasons I'm doing a Gibb season, I'm doing a Griselda season. I've got to sort out those things to get rid of those things so that I have more time to dive into other artists like Boldy James and like Rock Marciano.
Need each other's energy to feel like they cool. Nah, nigga, I'm by what the real got to break. I don't chase what niggas.
What even? Is that that's not a sax.
Hey yo, every other second fiends knocking at the door. Balenciaga bucking me the Black Tom Sawyer. 10 minutes net, I say time is Fashion Week. Me and Kim Jones with the chopper. Briggs got a flued up. Too much chase through my roof shop.
Yeah, I like this.
Then the last blocks that landed, they stamped them with John Lennon face. Came with the bees like candy, man. Parked outside the Waldorf.
Like Bubba Chuck, I liked it at the start again when it was first playing. I like Westside's bit. Stove God Cooks, we've got him again, and I feel like again he's going for too long. Like it just feels like this track, especially because of the instrumental of this track, like you can get a bit like dizzy from it because it's just the constant doo doo. It's like from like one kind of like semi high tone to like a high tone, and then when you keep hearing that doo doo, it's like it becomes reminiscent of like an alarm, like, because that's what alarms are like. They're like doo 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 doo. So imagine you're just hearing doo 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 doo. As beautiful as it sounds, for me that kind of musicality can only be heard for so much time. Like, so I feel like if this was like a 2-minute 30 track, Westside did his bit and God Cooks did a little bit, oh, this would have been a lot stronger. But now it's dragging on to almost 4 minutes again, with a Stove God Cooks feature, and it's just like, it's not helping when that instrumental there can get a bit dizzying because of the type of instrumental it is. It's just like I believe you just can't hear that for too long. I don't know, maybe my brain and my ears can't hear that for too long because I start thinking of alarms, but yeah. You know what this interlude is? This interlude is the ride back home. You've left jail now. You know, you had your experience, it's a sunny day, you're back home. This album is feeling then quite bitty. 2 interludes and 2 skits. Like, we only had a skit like 2 tracks ago. So if you think about it, this album is actually very short.
Drive by, driver, you my driver. Ooh.
Okay.
Your Gucci, your moves move me. Let's make a movie. You dick sucking while I'm holding my Uzi. I fell in love when you cook that brick naked. Ooh.
Fair enough, this is what the track is about. The track is about Westside enjoying himself. But like, it's just the ooh. You can't then also go on to do a sound like ooh, which just has all sorts of connotations.
I wanna lick every one of his tattoos.
It doesn't help because Keisha Plum always naturally had like a very like alluring voice, and now you've put her literally on a...
I got that grip on them thighs, you fit my dick perfect. I don't even use no problems. You like to twerk on it, you got my whole dick whack. I face smack your ass Yes, you called me Daddy West and I nutted. I'm about to come right back.
Drive by Love was very interesting. I see what he's doing. He's a street guy, enjoying himself in the car, you know, or wherever he's at with this female, you know, but he's still a street guy. But he's having his fun. I get the two worlds he's trying to merge. Like even at the start when he was doing ooh, before I heard the lyrics, that just sounded like R&B to me. I was like, oh yeah, Westside's trying to be in his R&B bag again. I mean, we've heard him try to do up vocals before. So I was like, he's in his R&B bag again, and I heard the lyrics afterwards and I was like, yeah, he's singing, but why is he singing though? Oh, it's a thing where, like, this track has got me speechless. It's not the Westside that I've become accustomed to. It's very, like, also, like, weirdly, like, in this album, it just doesn't make sense. It's very different. Because it's just, like, it just feels like it's just there, and then we've got all these vibes, and then that's just there. I don't even feel like there was like a transition. If there was a bit of a transition where we had a few softer tracks and then something like this, it would have made I would have been able to cope. Funnily enough, out of the 3 people in Griselda, the one person that I feel like could do a bit more romantic rapping would be Westside. Just because he is the more arty one and he's more peculiar and unique. So I don't see him being in one box. I see him definitely trying things out. I feel like that's what he's doing here, but because it's the first time I'm really seeing something like this, I don't know. I'm taking it like I'm just taking it.
Free.
Yes.
I actually don't think.
Ooh, this is beautiful. Ooh, this is late night driving vibes. And you've got the strap beside you and you're just cruising.
You can't fuck with me alone, yo. I'm drinking Perrier out of pie bags.
Oh, this production is like humming. It's like that sample is so low and like, oh, it's got this kind of next vibration that is just humming and going so like dark but gentle.
My eyes lay low shot. Favorite guards with the drawstrings, please. If you could cook this 100 pounds, we watch some sailors. Mama used to sharpen payless, tucked it up, that's just the dangerous. Hey yo, I'm drinking Perrier out of pie vexes.
Rebirth I actually very much like. I feel like that's one of the favorites I've got from this body of work as well, alongside Michael Irvin.
Pathetic speed had him like always.
You a dollar late and they short every day. Divide the dollars, serving cutty shit that they said ain't coincidental. I seen a nigga take 5 acids to take you, but won't bring you back. That's what my mother say. Run off with the pack, and then the verses that I display. At the top, it's really Roman gun. The compass miles away.
I love how the production changed from like that dark looping to like this like regal, like prosperous, like high pitched, like it was like it was taking me into the skies. It was like it took me out of the gutter, through the clouds, I was seeing heaven.
Relate the bitch mouth on my lap like print on a bake.
So I really like Steve Behr, but more so because of Rome Streets, not even because of Westside. Gosh, Flygod is an awesome god too. Let's talk about it. So, right, we have got basically a 10-track album minus the interludes and the skits. I really feel like if I was introduced to Westside this way, because I was introduced to Westside from Pray for Paris, and I remember finding it so unique, finding him so unique, and so finding him hard to understand, finding him hard to understand as an artist basically, because it was my first time ever listening to any kind of Griselda sound, and he, even though he was reminiscent of old 90s hip-hop, he was still very much a peculiar sound, especially his voice. I was like, wow, especially that album, which was such an artsy album, and you can get distracted by the production of it all, let alone, you know, trying to focus on Westside and things like that. So I remember I first listening to that and I was like, wow, this is interesting. And so it was a bit harder for me to digest him. After I listened to some more stuff from him and also heard him as a feature on some other tracks, like Westside was just an instant, and like I enjoyed him. Not that I didn't enjoy him before, but I understood him more, so I was like, yeah, this is great, I like this guy. If I was introduced to Flygod is an Awesome God 2 first though, I really feel like I actually would have like understood Westside instantly, simply because I feel like this album is softer. Like I feel like this album isn't as artsy, isn't as guttery even. It's definitely like just very soft. That's the vibe I get from Flygod is an Awesome God 2. He's not very extremely guttery and he's not really very artsy here. He's just like if somebody told him, Westside, take the most, you know, blanket template of yourself and put it into an album. And I feel like that's what this is. I feel like, even though, and because of that, that's why I feel like it's not very strong, but because of the attention that Griselda is getting and Westside is getting, I feel like Flygod is an Awesome God 2 will serve as a very good project in terms of people like what I used to be, which is someone that had never listened to him, discovering Westside Gunn and Griselda and listening to them for the first time. This could be a very good start for like people that have never heard him before. I feel like it's like that perfect kind of entrance album for like the ears that have not been touched yet. Do you know what I mean? But I definitely don't think it's the strongest project. But if you listen to this and then you go on to listening to other stuff, it's just like it will be the perfect kind of build up, and then you will just have the perfect image of what Griselda and Westside Gunn, you know, these Westside Gunn is and what Griselda is. So in that sense, I feel like that's a useful purpose that this album has. But apart from that, again, it's just very blanket, very template, very surface of Westside. Apart from that one random explicit track, Drive By Love, which I am still trying to digest. And it's not even that like I didn't like Drive By Love. I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. It was just a shock. And so it's hard to digest. Not the Westside that I'm very much fond of, but if I hear more of this type of Westside, maybe I could become more accustomed to it, because I can see him going into such direction. In terms of my criteria, I'm not sure if this album is ticked, but we'll talk about it. Let's say, first criteria is, did it make creative sense? I would say the creative sense in this album was very like mid, because it's not as like artsy as other albums I've heard, like Flygod, which just sounded like the samples and the beats of that tape was beautiful. And Westside doesn't seem to be having energy a lot that is really trying to match or capture vibes that the production is making. There's a lot of features first of all, and a lot of the features take up a lot of the time for the tracks, especially, well, not a lot of features, it's just a lot of Stove God cooks, and they just take up quite a lot of time. Armani took up a lot of time, so did Benny and Boldy. So like Westside often was only like rapping for a little bit, so like he wasn't ever really matching the creative vibes of the production that much, just because the features took up a lot of his time and there was loads of skits and instrumentals and stuff like that. You would think that with the skits and instrumentals this would help compose a very strong album in terms of creative sense, but actually the skits and the instrumentals I don't think help the creativity of the album that much. Maybe the Sud Who interludes were helping that creativity of the album, but the skits didn't really serve much to me in terms of that sense. So creative sense of this album, I don't think it's ticked that. Amount of boom tracks, again, we only really get 10. Favorites are Michael Irvin. I really like Rebirth. Steve Bird, despite the fact that it's very short and a lot of people talking at the end, I like that track because I really did like the feature and the production of that track. I did like One More Hit, and I like Buffs vs The Wires. I like that quite a lot. And then I did like Lil Cease because of Armani Caesar. So I mean, that's like 6 tracks. I liked a lot of the songs. I did enjoy quite a lot of the songs. It wasn't like wow, none of them really like took me aback or took my breath away, but you know, I did enjoy a lot of the songs. There was some good tracks, but how many boom? Not a lot of boom. I think maybe 2 or 3 boom. So not quite a lot of boom tracks. And in terms of journey, I don't think this album took me much on the journey either. I don't think it did. I think the only thing that this album sort of did in terms of my criteria was the creativity a little bit. It kind of ticks that criteria a little bit, but everything else I don't think it does. So what am I gonna rate this album? Flygod is an Awesome God 2. I think I'm gonna rate it a 6, and I can see potential in terms of eyes are on him now, ears that I've never heard such style before, hearing him now, this can serve as a good intro. I see it, and I see its purpose as that, and in that sense I feel like it's very, very comprehensive. So that is my reaction and review to Flygod is an Awesome God 2. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment down below of your thoughts. I'll see you guys all next time.
Hey, tell me hustle, dumb it down, you might confuse